the Rangers Journal Night.
Good evening and welcome everyone to the Rangers Journal. We are covering our Battle of Britain post-match analysis, where Rangers have drawn one each with Tottenham Hotspur. I am joined firstly by Jock. Jock, how are you doing, mate?
Doing pretty well after that game, I think. Yourself?
Not too bad. It's not too many times you'd be disappointed after drawing with Spurs in the Europa League, but feeling good, feeling optimistic. And Doug, glad you're on, mate. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well, thanks. It's another great night of European football at Ibrox.
Great, mate. Great. Can I agree more? And we are joined by the man behind the Albanian football Twitter page that you may have recognised. Redian, thank you for joining us. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a great game. I'm chuffed about that. It was great.
Perfect, mate. And apologies, guys. I seem to have a slight technical issue. I lost you there just momentarily. Jock, starting with yourself then. I know I said I was disappointed off the back of a draw this evening, but what was your reflection of the game?
I'm a bit yourself. I'm frustrated. And saying you're frustrated drawing with Spurs, I don't think many people would have said that maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I think we would have bit your hand off for a draw against Spurs. So after the performance we put in tonight, to come away with a draw, I'm just frustrated. Not disappointed, just frustrated, I think, because I think we created plenty of chances. But against a team from Premier League, you have to take your chances. And Spurs proved that with the one sort of proper chance that they had, where they kind of split us open with one pass through the middle of the defence. They scored. And that's the level you're at when you're playing against a Premier League team. So frustrated, but I'll take it. Hell of a game to watch.
I couldn't agree more. Jock. And Doug, what do you think went right for us tonight? Because it seemed like there was a lot of things that were positive this evening.
Yeah, I mean, they also came out with the right mentality, attitude to attack the game. They were high energy as well from front to back, buzzing about all over the place, closing them down, hassling, winning balls, and I feel like similar to what happened in Nice. They just rocked Spurs a little bit. Spurs started making mistakes. There were points where I was feeling it was a very kind of similar game because we were coming up against a team with a lot of quality, playing one of the top 5 leagues, but they looked rattled, and it was as simple as that. We just kept winning the ball off them. They would pass, misplaced passes, and that sort of built us up that momentum, and so we grew into the game, and it just sort of kind of carried on like that. The only difference, unfortunately, was we weren't quite as good when it came to scoring the goals, but loads of chances, and if they can turn up on Sunday with that attitude, you'll absolutely batter anyone, and that's the challenge now, is we have to turn up on Sunday. I said Saturday there. On Sunday with that attitude and that mentality, and then we'll actually have a proper final on our hands if we do that.
100%. I think what surprised me, I thought the energy that we were able to maintain throughout the full game, to be fair, I think it was great seeing that press. Because it was only 1-0 and even at half-time 0-0, I always had that worry in the back of my mind that we're going to be able to keep this up like all the way through the game. But I thought the actual changes that we brought on freshened up at the right time and were able to sort of maintain that high press. And I think Spurs looked spooked. Like you were saying, Doug, right for the offset, a few misplaced passes, going for throw-ins. I'm chuffed with how we set up this evening. And Redian, I know you've actually been calling out for Benrahma to actually be playing in his natural position, which is a 10, probably where we signed him for. How did you think he done this evening, and be happy to see him in that number 10?
Yeah, I was chuffed to finally see him play his natural position, and that's definitely where he should play. I think he done quite well. I see a lot of people slating him a bit for the missed chances, Of course, and another day he could have scored both of those chances. Another day he scores one of them. That's what you can expect of him. But I think overall his game was quite good. Actually, I won't say it was perfect, 10 out of 10. But I think he created quite a lot of chances. He helped the team put under pressure on Spurs. I think one of the chances he missed, which was the counterattack, was a great save by the keeper. It's also a counterattack which he started himself and finished himself, playing well with Czerny. I think also his runs were very good, and you can see the goal which Igamane scores is actually a Bayrami run, which frees up some space. I'm not saying it's a big thing, but it's a small thing that helps the team create the pressure on Spurs. I think overall Rangers were just very, very good, especially in the first 60 minutes before they started to ease off a bit because, of course, they got a bit tired.
Yeah, I probably agree. I think that's probably the best game I've seen Bajrami play in probably quite some time. Probably the first couple of games he played at Rangers, I thought he looked a right good player. I think he was sort of blown a bit hot and cold. I think playing out in the left wing just really wasn't suiting him. But I did like some of the runs that he was making him behind the back line, linking up really well with likes of Tavernier, Czerny, Egeman. No, definitely enjoyed. What about yourself? Did you like to see, or did you like what you seen of Bajrami actually playing in the 10?
Yeah, I think that's something we've been calling for since he came in the door, really, because we haven't really seen it. So when the lineup was put out, I was a wee bit surprised, especially also seeing Yilmaz in there as well. But he did well, had the chances, as like Ridian says. Another day those go in. Forster does made a good save from the first one. And his movement, I think, as Ridian says, the movement is what is I think Coisty calls it, is it a dummy run or a decoy run? Coisty said in commentary. Those create space for other players, and that's exactly what happened. It's just a bit of game intelligence. It's something that you probably do yourself on five-a-side. Unselfishly, you go and run and you take somebody out of space to make space for somebody else, and that's what happened for the goal.
Definitely. You mentioned there about the surprise of Yilmaz. Doug, that when I seen the lineup, I thought Yilmaz. I had to read it twice to make sure that I just seen Jeff Day and Yilmaz starting in the same lineup. But probably one that actually really paid off. I thought Yilmaz was excellent tonight. I'm not quite going to say man of the match for me personally. So I think Raskin probably takes that. But I thought he was right up there. I thought he was excellent. Doug, what did you think of that when you first seen it, and then do you think it paid off?
I'm going to blow my own trumpet here because on the lowdown, I predicted Yilmaz at left wing in the starting lineup. I chose him personally for the defensive solidity, but if nothing else, he was actually far more the offensive side that he really brought to the game. I thought we were going to have a much tougher time of it, particularly with the level of players that Spurs have on the wings. So I'd sort of picked him to shore up the defence a bit, but he was like absolutely. He was a man possessed at times. He was all over the place. I think it was the first 5 or 10 minutes I saw him like right in the penalty spot getting the ball, and I was still like, oh yeah, he's playing up front, or he's playing up forward, so far forward. But yeah, he was really good. Say him and Yefty showed in the sort of early season that they've got a decent understanding and can play well together. They did again tonight. I thought he played really well with the other midfield players as well. He did tire a bit as the game went on, but I think he earned that, and with the amount of movement he provided, and like the guys have touched on, one of the big things that has changed for us in the last few weeks has been the quality of our movement up front, and that's come from bringing in Egeman, bringing in Hadji, quality players that are operating with other quality players in Czerny and Barami. And I think that's something we'll see, if you bring him into his 10 position, having that more game intelligence and interaction with the players around him is what's going to continue to help to bring us, more efficiency up front as these players interchange, pass the ball and move, making it, like, let's say, dummy runs and things like that. That all comes from having, a higher level of technical quality, and that's what these players are bringing to us now, and that's why we're starting to see us play better and score more goals.
Definitely. Sticking with yourself, Doug, and still staying on the Yilmaz front, do you think that his performance today gives Clement something to think about ahead of the weekend? I mean, we're going to come up against another team that will play with high energy. We'll try and play out from the back.
Yeah, mean, I think Clement's got a lot to think about all over the pitch now. I think most people, for example, looking at the fact that Tavernier started tonight, would assume that means Sterling would start at the cup final. Tavernier again, one of the men of the match, though, and he's got every right, I think, to be standing at the manager's door, going, if I've done that against Tottenham, I can do the same against Celtic. You've got Danilo and Hadji, who I've kind of touched on a second ago, both who couldn't play tonight, but they were probably in his mind as people who might have come in fresh for this game, particularly Hadji, because he's played Old Firm matches before, which is something he's got perhaps over Danilo. He's got more sort of Old Firm experience. So, but every player that was on the pitch tonight, I think, can turn to the manager and say, I should start at the weekend. So I think it's going to be a tough decision for him now who he's going to bring in, and it might simply come down to fitness because, like we say, the whole team put in a shift tonight, and obviously, like Redden said, they were tiring in the last stages of the game. Some of them, particularly, we did well to sort of manage that with substitutions. So it might just come down to the fitness. Obviously, the big concern is Suter, who went off. So that might mean that Proper might have to start. But even Proper had arguably his best game in a Rangers shirt tonight as well. So I don't think it's just Yilmaz. He's got decisions to make all over the pitch.
Couldn't agree more. And Reddy, and I suppose taking Bajrami aside, any other players that you think stood out in the Rangers team tonight?
I wrote a tweet a couple of days ago where I said every time Rangers play in Europe, it's quite easy to predict the man of the match, and I think he was man of the match again today. It's Raskan. I think he's a bulldog in there, and every time he gets into a challenge, he goes into it with a 100%. And I think the opponents are quite surprised by it because he's quite a small guy. He doesn't really have this big stature, but he really does know how to put in that tackle. And I genuinely love watching him play because that's what I want from my number 6. I want him to be rough. I want him to get into the challenges and just destroy every attack of the opposition. But overall, I just think I cannot say any player played bad today. I think everyone played very well. I was very surprised by Yilmaz, actually, because we need to remember he was playing completely out of position. It's not really his game to play left wing, but I think he did well. And also Tavernier, who I've been very critical of. I think he played a fantastic game today as well. So my man of the matches will probably be Igamane, Tavernier, and Raskan as number 1.
No, I agree. I think it's quite hard to pick who was the best today. I think Raskin probably does just snatch it for me. I think I like that he has that real dogged player in the midfield, but he's just technically so good in the ball as well. Usually you kind of get one or the other. We had like Lundstrom last year who was really just dogged in the midfield, but maybe lacked a lot of quality on the ball. Whereas I think Raskin gives you both of them, and I think a fit Raskin is one of, if not our best player at the moment. And Jock, the guys have been mentioning Tavernier. Tavernier's been one of the biggest talking points of this week so far. Should they play tonight? Should they play the weekend? Should they play one of them? Should they play none of them? But I think he was excellent tonight. Got an assist. I thought defensively looked solid. What was your overall thoughts?
Yeah, he did the assist for the goal was tremendous. It was a perfect way. It was classic Tav, something we've not seen too much from this season, and probably the tail end, maybe the last good 4 or 5 months of last season as well. He just sort of tailed off and was just not providing the stats that we're used to seeing from Tav over the years, the assists and the goals. And tonight he was pretty solid. 1 or 2 moments of courage in the comments saying that he had a brain fart. 1 or 2 maybe just loose passes that got us into baller and like they didn't get punished, thankfully. But at that level, that intensity of the game, those things are going to happen. Players aren't going to get every pass spot on. One of those things. In terms of coming on for Sunday, I think a lot of the chat was Tav tonight, Dujon Sunday. I think Tav with the assist, the ball he played in is probably going to give Clement something to think about for Sunday. If he can do that again and put a ball in the back and put in behind the Celtic defence, which is something we're probably going to have to do to try and create chances against them, I think Tav might have played his way into the starting lineup on Sunday. you're muted, mate.
Oh, sorry, that was just my wee mic was on mute there. I think if anything, Tav probably needed this if he is going to start at the weekend. I think nothing gives you confidence than being able to keep Son, who's world class, quiet for 90 minutes. And he must look at it going, if I can keep Son quiet for 90 minutes, and surely God, I can keep Maeda quiet for 90 minutes. But it's definitely a tough decision that Clement will have to make. And Curry's timely apt comment, to be fair, he's posted in Spurs gained confidence when Czerny got subbed. What was your thoughts on Czerny tonight? It was quite quiet at the weekend against Ross County, but I thought tonight it was unreal.
So you asking?
Aye, sorry, Doug. Sorry, I thought I said you, mate.
Yeah, I think Czerny's obviously had a bit of a tough start to the season with his couple of misses and that, and then he's had a solid few weeks of scoring goals. A little dip recently, but was absolutely back on form tonight. I believe I was having a quick look through the stats just before, and I think he got the most chances of anyone. He got about 4 or 5 opportunities. He didn't quite manage to get the goal this time, but on another night, he gets a goal. He does sometimes have that tendency to slightly overrun it and then just kind of lose it in the box at the last minute. And he did that once or twice. So maybe if he head up a little bit more, maybe he could have put it on to someone for a shot. But I mean, overall, as I say, excellent play. He was the driving force of the team. Funnily enough, I watched yesterday. I watched some of I think it's Tottenham Fans TV. They're sort of their version of us, if you like. And they pinpointed Czerny as a danger, and they actually mentioned him as a player that the type of player they should be looking at signing, which I thought was interesting. But then again, they also said that Connor Barron has Beckham-like precision with the long pass, so you can take their opinions as you see. But yeah, I say he really put the fear into them at times. Direct running. It's something that Sakala did, but with a bit more craziness to it. Czerny's obviously a much more much better technically than Sakala, so he kind of keeps the ball a bit more, keeps the ball a bit more. But it's that same kind of thing. Just gets the ball and just runs straight at you. And we got a lot of chances in that. And I think Curry's probably right. They probably were quite happy to see the back of him when he went off, as it did take a little bit of that directness away.
Oh, 100%. And Reddy, what do you think went wrong for Spurs tonight? Because I think there's no doubts. I think even it was good to hear Crouch at the end of it, because I was actually fizzing at the beginning of the game where he was just writing Rangers off as if we had no chance, to then at the end saying that Spurs got away with one. What do you think went wrong for Spurs tonight?
Not to be overly dramatic, but I think everything went wrong for them. I simply could not see what they actually brought to the table in the first 70 minutes of the game. It was all Rangers. I know Rangers didn't create 10, 15 chances, but it was just clear to see which was the better team on the night. First of all, I think their attack was not as potent and wasn't as threatening as they could have been. And I've also just heard the Postecoglou, the post-match interview, where he's completely tearing into Timo Werner. Timo Werner was, for me, the worst player on the pitch tonight. And every time he got the ball, I got some sort of calmness in me, because I knew Rangers were just going to get a goal kick or something. He was so bad. I also said before the game, I simply don't fear a Spurs who are coming into this game without Cristian Romero and without Mickey van de Ven. They both got injured at the weekend, and it was clear to see that their center backs weren't just weren't up for it. So I think overall the players weren't there, and mentally it's like they weren't really ready for the occasion at all. They might have underestimated Rangers a bit.
Yeah, you would think these big teams in Europe would realise by now not to underestimate Rangers at Ibrox. But I'm happy for that to continue happening. And moving on, I'm cautious of time. Jock, what's the sort of hopes then for the rest of this qualifying campaign? I'm not going to get carried away and say for the rest of the tournament, but this qualifying campaign, do you think we can get top 8?
I think so. I think we still have another game at home, don't we? So one game at home and we've got 2 away games. I think the United game will be an interesting game. I thought these next 2 European games, if we were to get, this is going to sound bad, but if we get a point for one of them, I actually thought, whenever I take 3 weeks ago, I thought we might actually get a point away, because I think our away form's quite good. I thought we might actually get the point at Old Trafford, and I thought Spurs would probably beat us at Ibrox. But it might be vice versa. Maybe we might see a different performance again away to United, depending how Sunday goes. We might get a bounce from Sunday. We're definitely going to have a bounce from tonight's game, that's for sure. The players should be taking full confidence for that performance. So I'd like to think we'd make the top 8 and stay above Spurs, and not have to do that extra qualifying round and just jump straight into the last 16, is it? So the last 16.
Yeah, top 8 gets you last 16.
I'd like to think we're good for that now, considering how we've done so far in Europe.
Definitely. And Doug, I'll pose the question to you, the same question to yourself. What do you think the likelihood is that we go and secure top 8?
I think that's given us a great opportunity. I think the game against Union is a winnable tie. We've beaten them before. Obviously, having the game at home as well I think gives us that little bit extra. I'd said that after the Nice game, the fact that we won that one, I thought we had enough to qualify in general. If we were to assume that we do win that match, and that meant that we could go into these 2 games kind of enjoying them. After the performance they put in tonight, and how good our away form has been, and how patchy Man United can be, I think that game's even set up for us to potentially, we could nick a draw at that one as well. You don't know which United will turn up. At the same time, obviously, again, it's another Premiership team full of world-class players, so it'll still be an incredibly tough game. It's not at home, so that gives it a little bit extra difficulty. But again, we can go into that game, I think, going to it to enjoy it, and see it's just another challenge. The players can go in and say, right, let's we've put ourselves up against Tottenham and give us a good account of ourselves. Let's do the same against United, and win, lose or draw against that in that match. As I say, I think we then go into the last game so confident that we can, get a victory, and then that'll definitely. I think I'm completely convinced we'll qualify. Now it's just a case of, like you say, can we squeeze into that very top 8, and I think we can.
Class, mate. I also share that optimism, especially after last night. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up there. I think we'll definitely all be eager to sit and chat about the weekend coming up. But we will have our pre-match pod at 2:30, I believe, on Sunday. So just to go round everyone, Reddy, and thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was a great game and a great post-match show.
Thank you, mate. And Jock, thanks for coming on, mate.
No, thanks for having me.
And Doug, pleasure as always, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Yep, like I say, another great European night. Thursday nights are Rangers nights, and long may that continue.
100%. And on that note, just remember, everyone, please like and subscribe. And every night is a Rangers Journal night. Thanks for watching.